the number one tip to win more tennis matches. And I genuinely believe this could save you a lot of time, of dollars, euros, wherever you're from in the world, and frustration and struggle. I wish I had this knowledge about 10, 20 years or so ago. It would have helped me a lot, but at the same time I also believe sometimes we have to go through some of the challenges to learn from it or to be able to pass it on, which I'm doing right now and I'm very excited about. So this is for tennis players who are motivated and actually sincere about achieving more, enjoying it more, and finding out what they have within. So it's all the way from, if you're a recreational or a pro tennis player, this is for you if you are also open and willing to implement what I'm about to share with you. Because if I'm honest also, if I would have had this knowledge 10, 20 years ago, I'm not sure if I was willing to implement this as well. But if that's you, if you are willing to implement this, let's go ahead and dive right in because I have some good stuff coming for you. So let's use the example of a house as a metaphor. So imagine you are looking to buy a new house that still needs to be built. And there is the foundation, the concrete, a living room on top of it, the kitchen, a bedroom, etc. And let's say you have two options, right? There's house number one, house number two. And house number one will be 500,000 and it will take 6 months to build. However, you're not able to see it, but the concrete is pretty much quicksand. And let's say there's a 75% chance that the house will break down and it will crumble. Okay? Remember that. Then house number two. Let's say it's a bit more expensive, 600,000. It will be built in 8 months. It's built on a very strong foundation. So let's say you would be able to live in for the rest of your life, like hurricanes and everything aside, right? Let's say you have the money to invest and you only have these two options. Which one would you pick? That's a no-brainer, right? Well, if you're like most tennis players, you are probably investing all of your time, your energy, and your money into house one. What do I mean? So let's use the same principles for there's the foundation, your character. And on top of it, there's your technique, your tactical skills, and your physical skills. About 90+% of tennis players are investing and prioritizing their technique, their tactics, and their physical skills without first developing the foundation, their character. And I don't like to use the word mistake because it's not your fault, right? This is just not really being taught. In most cases. But if you are not showing your potential in matches consistently, then it is a sign that the foundation, your character, so you could say your mindset, your personal development is not in place. And pretty much everyone has this to a degree. Right? This is what differentiates the best from the rest. They all have a foundation, but also the players who continuously make more progress. They are willing to implement what they have learned in practice, in matches, and they continue to get better results. They move up the ratings, the rankings. So also if you are stuck at a certain level right now, then of course you can work on your technique, on your physical skills, on your tactical skills, but one of the reasons is also how you see yourself. And you can see this for yourself, for instance, with your technique. For instance, if your timing is off, you could be thinking, oh, it's due to my technique, or I make a poor choice. My tactical skills are off, right? I was impatient. or my balance was off, my physical skills were off. Well, if you have shown a good technique, if your decision was on spot, your balance was right on point, then if you have shown that before, it means the potential to do it again is already within. So what is the cause of your timing, your physical skills, or the strategy, your tactical skills to be off? It is due to your mind, period. And you can just observe this for yourself. Whenever you play bad, what are you focused on? What are you thinking? Or when you play awesome, what are you focused on? What are you thinking? And you can immediately see the impact of it right away. But most tennis players invest all of their time into the skills without first having the foundation. And then, you're just not unlocking your potential, or also not being able to enjoy it as much, unfortunately. And let me actually share some studies about this as well, for those of you who are potentially like a little bit skeptical about this. So from a journal, Neuroscientific Basis of Choking, what it shows that under pressure, performance showed changes in brain activity, more frontal activation, and less efficient motor network coordination, resulting in a poorer technical control. So this is why you choke, or why you have an off day also, right? It is due to the mental, the words and the chatters that are happening maybe unconsciously in your mind. Another one, stress has been shown to cause increased muscle tension and coordination difficulties, which increase the athlete's risk of injury. Teaching athletes stress management techniques have been shown to reduce injury rates over a season of participation. I work with tennis players very often who have some pains and some injuries, and I actually developed a protocol for that as well. But even, who was it? Alcaraz at the French Open, was it 1 or 2 years ago? Against Djokovic, he was cramping, and he mentioned also it was due to the nerves. And he was talking with his psychologist about it to deal with it. Another example about your tactics. The stress-induced deliberation to intuition model proposes that under stress, individuals' cognitive control weakens, causing decisions to be made prematurely, steering cognition away from deliberate reasoning toward intuitive, less reflective choices. Just on a side note, as you hear me pause every now and then, it's just a bit of a stutter. I've had it my entire life, so just on a side note. But it shows, right? When you are hesitant, when you are, rushed playing a point, you're impatient, it shows that your mind is active and you're not able to get in touch with your intuition when you play your best, when there is no thinking. So I have a couple of questions for you. First, what have I been investing into, and what have been my returns? Have you been investing in your technique, in your physical skills, in your tactical skills? And what have been the returns on that? Have you been winning more matches? Have you been moving up the rating, the ranking? But also, have you just been enjoying yourself? Is your potential coming out in matches? If not, then I'm going to invite you and challenge you to change your approach, because just like Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. Some of you are hoping to improve, are hoping to win more matches, while continuing to do the same thing. You practice, and sometimes you even see in your practice, hey, my serve is getting better, my backhand is getting better. But if it's not coming out in a match, question yourself what needs to be changed. It's not your technique always. Then it needs to be the foundation, right? And then number 2, do I trust it if I master the foundation? So your personal development, your confidence, your courage, your focus, your you being patient, especially under pressure. That if you master that you're going to make more progress, experience more joy, and a higher ranking or rating or whatever your goal is. Because if you believe that, just by the way, for some of you, I know you may not believe it immediately, or you may be a little bit skeptical. It's perfectly fine. Then I'm just going to invite you to look at other people who have the evidence, and I'll share an example here below as well. But if you trust this and you believe this, then I'm going to invite you to ask yourself, what am I willing to do in order to take new actions? Because new actions are necessary to get new results. Very simple. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge sometimes. Some of you may have some concerns, completely normal, because your brain is always going to fight something that is unfamiliar or new. So here are just some of the concerns that I've usually heard from people. Very common, yeah, but I can't skip my tennis lessons maybe. You know, like maybe you realize like, well, I still need to do that. Well, again, if you continue to prioritize your skills and like, of course, and by the way, you can still do your lessons or your practice, right? I'm not saying to completely disregard it, obviously. I'm just saying, or inviting you to switch your priority to first invest your time, your money, and your energy into the foundation. Because if that is not there, everything else on top of it will crumble, just like the house. And it is kind of a waste of time, of money, and energy unless you learn from it, right? So for so many of you, I know for sure, and I've seen this for myself, and I've even heard this from professional players as well. The moment they stopped playing full-time tennis, or they stopped with their career, they started playing better tennis, and they played not even half of the amount of hours they were playing, just because they felt more free. Because, you know, the skills are already within you. And I know for sure that if you would play 5 hours a week instead of 10 hours, or you play 10 hours a week instead of 20 hours, depending on how much you practice, and if you master the foundation, you will get better results for sure. Of course, you need the right principles to develop the foundation, and you need to put in the work as well. But it's only 10 to 15 minutes a day, right? So that needs to be obviously in place as well. Number 2, I just want to play tournaments. I don't want to invest my time, my money, and energy into this right now. That's completely okay, but it's a matter of time when you solve your challenge if your potential is not coming out in matches, or if you have hit a plateau and you're not continuing moving up the ratings or the rankings, or just enjoying yourself, right? It will continue usually to get worse. So it's just a matter of time, when are you going to invest into it? And just by pausing, again, the metaphor of the house, you know, maybe it takes a month or 2 longer to build, but you'll be able to live in for the rest of your life. Let's say, if I can assure you that you can enjoy much more of your potential when you develop first the foundation. You know, what are you willing to sacrifice? And some people, they see this as, oh yeah, but then I have to give something up, then I lose something. I love the quote of Bob Proctor. He just passed away, but what he shared was, are you willing to give up something from a lower nature in order to receive something of a higher nature? So this means, are you willing to trust in something that will give you something that is worth more to you, right? So maybe some of you may be thinking, well, but I miss out on an opportunity to win some points, or maybe if you are a professional tennis player, maybe to make some money with a tournament. Well, what if I can assure you can earn a lot more points or earn a lot more money when you develop the foundation, but you just need to take one step back. Here's an example also of someone who shift his priority from investing into his technique, the tactics, the physical skills into his character. And here's what he said. I used to spend all this time on lessons and matches, but I wasn't showing my potential and getting the results I wanted. When I started working with Nathan, I learned why, and I started to win a lot more. I've been playing my best tennis ever. So this is just to inspire you and to see what is possible for you as well. If you have an interest in that, I'll share some links here below for some resources and about my services if that is something you are interested in. I'll add some links here in the description. But anyways, I genuinely hope this training was valuable. You gained some new insights from this. If you did, please subscribe to my page, like it, and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. I love to connect, engage, and just get to know what resonated for you. So awesome. That was it, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.